Hey, what's going on, everyone? Henry Kaminsky here with another Brand Doctor podcast episode for you guys. Today, I have another amazing guest. This individual I had met a couple years back in Russell Brunson's Inner Circle program. And we connected because we're like brand heads, and she loves branding, I love branding, and we love designing and architecting funnels. And when I say funnels, I mean sales and marketing funnels. And so I had just recently connected back with her to see how she was doing, because there's been some time away. She moved out to LA and I'm here in New York. So, and I wanted to get her back on the show because she's been doing some, amazing things. And she's been studying her ass off when it comes to building, starting from scratch and really building out a sustainable marketing funnel for your business. So without further ado, I want to introduce Christina Razakis to the show. What's going on, Christina?
Hi, thank you so much. That was awesome. I have bbeen studying my ass off. That was perfect. I'm one of those people who has to understand it, all the nooks and crannies. And it's funny because I'm the only one, I think, in the Inner Circle who came from the Inner Circle who hasn't launched their own funnel. And I was at Funnel Hacking Live. I'm staying in the Airbnb house with all of the Inner Circle mates, and everyone around me is a millionaire. And I'm just like, all right, I got this now. But it wasn't until Funnel Hacking Live recently that, last week, that I finally have step one. Because what happened was I ended up knowing I can talk about step 2 to 100 all day when it comes to branding. It doesn't matter, if you're making a lot of money, I can look into your funnel and probably tell somebody that's probably what's not converting. Even though I haven't launched my own funnel, I've been around it long enough where I have really great grasp of it. But I really want to talk about going from 0 to 1 because that's kind of how I'm at now. And it's totally put all the puzzles together. And I'm really excited to help people truly figure out exactly where to start.
Awesome. I love that. But first, before we get started, I want to have you give the audience a little bit of background, because you do know your stuff when it comes to branding and connecting and all of that. I think, and don't slap me, but I think you know more than you think you do.
Yeah, for sure.
And
I know a lot.
Yeah. And so it's just a point of executing and doing it, right? So, but before we get into step 1, I want you to tell the audience sort of your background and what school you went to and all that. So, we start there.
Sure. I went to Ohio State University, and they only there's 60,000 people in the school, but I got into visual communication design. They had so many applications and they only took 16 people, and it was amazing. I wish I could go back because there was different departments. There was the product designers, the interior space designers, and then visual communications and branding. And I just wish I would have met the product designers, because I could be doing e-com all day with them, right? Anyway, it was amazing. I got to understand fonts very well. We got to understand theory, and it was interesting is the polarity. Russell talks a lot about polarity, and one of my favorite examples about that was just understanding marketing and advertising to the point where you do have to spark curiosity. And I'll never forget this example. It was United Colors of Benetton, the fashion brand. Mm-hmm. And it was, I think, right around, I don't know, I had to look this up, either the 50s or the 70s, one of the two. And I think it was right after a very controversial, Rodney King, beating or something like that. And they found the opportunity and they took a stance and they did this amazing, controversial billboard. And they had 2 babies, toddlers. One was a very albino looking white baby, and the other one was just African, gorgeous baby. And they put in the African baby an afro carved out in the devil horns, and it created an uproar. Okay, and it really hit the African American community so much, and it created such an uproar. And it reminds me of Polarity. It's like that they knew exactly what they were doing because they were like the rebels. They wanted to the next thing you know, you have the whole world talking about their brand. And that's what people need to start thinking about. You got to think about, what has worked, what has sparked conversation. And I really enjoyed things like that. And we just really learned about your perceptual characteristics. So Russell talks about who is your dream customer, but the perceptual characteristics is really understanding who am I as a brand? Am I loud? Am I quiet? So you want to make a list, like another T-chart, and understand what color, if your brand was a color, what would it be? Would it be red? Would it be yellow? If it was a song, what song would it be? Is it techno? Is it, something else? So then when you understand that, then you start to get a grasp of the messaging and the look and feel of everything, that you have a place to start. You can't just start with the logo, right? Because the worst thing is someone, I want a logo for my business. Okay, well, what are your perceptual characteristics? So that's the first exercise that you have to go through is give them, I always give people that breakdown. It's really just perceptual characteristics is another way of saying what are your adjectives.
Right. You start to put a word to the feeling, to the look, to what it is that you vision, right? Envision, I should say. And this all makes beautiful sense because everybody wants to start with the fun stuff, but not necessarily want to do the legwork and the preliminary stuff that really is going to be the foundation of your brand and your business. And so I love what you're saying. I can't say that word. What is it?
Oh, perceptual.
Perceptual character. It's not character.
Yeah, characteristics.
Yeah, characteristics. Say that 10 times fast.
Well, what's interesting about branding that I've kind of researched lately is everyone in the circle kind of knows my dad's business. I made a really, really difficult time with, Dr. Verzakis and selling a doctor, or selling, who you are in certain industries. And it really wasn't working because people had the opportunity to kind of research everything and kind of do a background of the company. And one of the guys in the circle was like, why don't you just do a Facebook page? It's I don't know, get rid of pain now. So third party. So it's really business and branding is about a balance between building a personal brand and a brand, yes, but also connecting the dots for the problem and the solution. Because sometimes people don't want, it's not about you. It's about, I have a migraine, I have a problem, how are you going to fix it?
That's it.
The brand almost can come later once you start getting the following. And a lot of people rebrand themselves. So sometimes on the page, your page may not be converting because you have your logo all big, in center. Whereas it maybe needs to be more quiet, in the bottom, maybe, so hidden. So I think there's some split testing where they have made the logos a lot smaller and it was converting a lot more because people's eyes were able to focus on the problem and the solution and the curiosity to kind of get into the opt-in, and then they get to know your brand in a different way. So be careful with that, with the pictures and the colors and making it look all professional, because sometimes looking too corporate, people don't like that anymore.
Yeah, they sort of like the naturalistic, they like the behind the scenes, they like the raw and cut type of look, right? So to splash that in and to bring that in is definitely a strategy to use, because you now become real. You're not this beautiful portrait. And it was funny, I actually had some people say about my website, my brand, you're almost too polished. But then if you come to social media and you see me on a daily basis, it's a lot less, it's more dressed down, it's more, approachable. Yes, I want to put my best foot forward on my website because you never know who's going to come. You know what I mean? So you always want to have that great first impression. And that's what I tell all my clients. You only have 3 seconds to make that impression. So make it, but don't forget the nuts and bolts of it. And it's so funny that you say that, right? So at the end of the day, we need to solve a problem for someone, or else we are not relevant to that person. And so I love what the Inner Circle folks were saying to you, and I love how you mentioned this just now and it brought light to it, is if you're not solving a problem, if you're not meeting a need, right, then you really need to figure out a different audience, right? Or what is it that you are solving, and then get out there and explain how you do it. And so I want to argue this point a little bit, right? Because a lot of people are saying it's not about you, it's about them. And then you have the Simon Sinek's in the world saying people aren't going to buy from you until they know your why, right? So what comes first? Right? We can debate this. I'll have a fun time doing it.
I think it depends on who you are. I mean, if you're a coach, if you're a life coach, you know, I would probably do a split test. I would say maybe just have them come in by doing those. I think it's all about the micro commitments. Before they get to know who you are, I think it needs to be about them and the funnel. So I was looking at some things with Funnel Hacking Live, and someone was saying you just have, well, the ad that you put out there makes a promise. You have to remember, they want that free thing that you're making a promise at. So when you get to it, it can't be all about you right away. It has to be that get your free number, you know, what that one thing. And then I think it happens gradually as you're beginning a brand. Unless you're, I mean, I think we could have some fun, like let's name someone, you know?
Well, I mean, there's a few folks out there that come to mind. I don't want to name any names, however, but I do want to structure how they're getting a lot of business. And I think what it comes down to is consistency and relevancy. Yeah. So when you can speak in a way that's relevant to your audience so that they actually feel it, you know, and they actually are like, oh man, are you hiding underneath my desk? Like, how do you know that that's what I'm struggling with right now? You know, like that's going to resonate with them, and then they're going to want to know more. And so Ben Settle is one of the guys that I really follow on email, because he's really got email marketing dialed in, and he's been doing it for 15 years. He said, if you really want to grab people's attention and become relevant, talk about their pain points, because you'll get people's attention real quick. But one of the things that I wanted to say was, when you are consistent, if you continuously show up, I think it's now like 14 or 15 times people have to see you before they become interested or engaged and actually take action on you. So if you show up once and then you disappear because quote unquote the ad didn't work, well, now you're struggling with another problem, which is obscurity. Now nobody knows who you are. So, you know, I think you got to get out there and play the consistent game, and show your true self. And at the same time, while you're doing that, make it about them.
Right. A lot of people get it wrong with the ads. They'll just put one ad out there and then they'll get some leads. ClickFunnels actually will test an ad. They'll spend $200 testing an ad. So they'll test for a video, for example, they'll test the thumbnail image. And when they click on it, it goes to a dead page. It just says opt-in coming soon. They don't even care about the lead. And then once the image that wins, I mean, they tried, is it the hot girl that wins, you know, or is that the sailor painter painting nude squirrels, you know, versus a businessman, and the, you know, pirate looking, you know, painting nude squirrel guy won. And they don't think that you know what wins the market wants, because that's the one that had the instant conversions. I love the numbers with this stuff, you know, to get people to click on. And then after that, they tested the headline. And they did the exact same thing and had it go to a dead funnel. And then they showed us 3 intros. Because a lot of times when you do a video, people don't watch it all the way through. It's like you do all this work doing a video, and then no one's watching it. You know, I'm like, oh yeah, why don't you just test the intro? So they tested 3 intros, and the winner it's just amazing how you can study conversions like that. So a lot, and then also they're doing like, once you get the hang of this and you have all your funnels built, and the goal is to have fun with the ads, because they're doing 10 to 14 ads a week. You're just having so much fun with ads, you know. And I was thinking about if I do decide, well, I am doing some sort of like weight loss funnel and fitness funnel, I'm going to put on like a fat suit and like unzip myself and like come out. Like those are the things that people need to start doing to kind of catch your eye. It's no longer, and it could be the funniest thing. Like Dan Henry, he got started with a dick pic. I mean, it's a crazy thing. Like we're living in a society where it's not all professional, and the ones that work is the vulnerability to look more real. So, that's the challenge is like, if you want to be a professional brand and you're not obviously not going to be doing, crazy, like Dan Henry's doing, try to figure out what can make people laugh. What can tap into that emotion that's that pattern interrupt. That's like, oh, what's that? Maybe, another example is not having a nice stock photo, you thinking you're all professional out there, but what about the one that they were split testing that's more grainy? It looks like you took the picture yourself, in low light. That's what people are clicking on. People are craving authenticity right now.
There you go. So let's dive in. So that was a pretty long intro premise, but we covered a lot of ground there. But what I really want to focus in on is how to begin to craft your sales and marketing funnel from scratch. And I mean, I sound like a broken record, but if you don't know the audience that you want to serve, if you don't know their problem, if you don't know what they really want and need and what they're willing to buy, then how can you create a sales and marketing funnel that's going to be profitable?
It's being yourself. I love how it actually starts with who you want. You gotta stop thinking about the money, and Kaylin Pullen-Toole did an amazing job at this with speaking at Funnel Hacking Live. She said to make a T-chart, and even in the books, they talk about, in the chapter, who do you want to serve? I'm gonna actually reread that, but I was missing a piece to that because I was struggling with this, and it was like, okay, who do I want? Do I want someone that does ballet, who did ballet as a child? Should I do the ballet? Should I do more weightlifting or the cardio? And I was just like, I just didn't know what to do. And then when she spoke, she had hers, which I want to just actually read hers. Who is your tribe? Who do you want to talk to every day and hang out with? That's where it starts. And if you can focus on that, you can be yourself in the group. So what she did, she actually had to figure this out the hard way. And she realized that, and it's funny because how to write your copy actually starts from this. So you literally get a sheet of paper and you make a T-chart and you say, who do I want and who do I don't want? It doesn't start with what you think it is. What it starts with is the type of personalities of the people that you want in the group. Yeah. For example, she has, women who want to lose weight. Obviously, pick your health, wealth, or relationship culture, right? And then she has conservative beliefs, someone who's an action taker, who is an encourager, who wants to have fun, who takes responsibility and wants to change themselves. She doesn't want someone women who are into fitness. That's different. So I would be someone maybe more into fitness. There's a difference of her messaging there. Something like she doesn't want anyone against God or guns, right? Complainer, a naysayer, a fun sucker, to place blame, and victim mentality. And, that's when you have those, then you can start writing your messaging, and she'll tell people, if you tell me I don't have time, the kids, blah, 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 there's the door. I don't want, this isn't right for you. Just leave. I mean, she'll maybe be a little bit more nicer about it, but it allows her the space to be herself and to communicate what she's really trying to do. So I was thinking about mine and, who I don't want, I'll just give another example of this. I don't want anyone who's narcissistic or jealous, or women who are fake, a complainer. I like that one. The naysayer, that was a good one. Mean girls, just negative people, someone who's indecisive. And that's a really good one because when you're writing your messaging, especially when you're closing people, listen, if you're someone that's I don't know, I'll do it tomorrow, be like, this probably isn't right for you. Maybe you just don't deserve it. someone that's deserving, it's a really like secret hack that you can put out there in your messaging. But I hope you're getting, the people that are listening, getting the idea, who I want to be able to be with people like-minded like me that, I want maybe an entrepreneur or someone who's kind. Maybe entrepreneurs have more of my schedule. I can help them with, the workout schedule a little bit more. Someone who's loyal, who wants to be disciplined, who's struggling to be themselves, who's misunderstood. That way I can talk to them. So I think that's where it really starts, is to, who do you want to hang out with? If you're going to go to, the club, who would you want to bring with you? Someone who's going to be like complaining all day and talking about like all the negativity in their life, or someone who's just wants to talk about, funnel hacking or just...
Well, we tend to attract people that are similar to us. And I personally tend to work with people that are much more aligned in what it is that I do and my values, I should say. Like when I find a go-getter and I start working with another go-getter, it's like we're two animals in a cage, like having fun. You know what I mean? We're not going at each other. But when I get a client through the door that sneaks in, that everything's a no, it's not going to work. How do I know this? It's not going to work. Like, forget it. Just here's your money back. Take a hike. Like, and it is what it is, but it should start with you and what you want. Like, I found this really awesome quote, and I actually did an Instagram post on it today. It was like, you are the tequila. You are the tequila. So let the lime chase you. Like, don't be the chaser. So understand that. And like, understand that positioning is great. Listen, when I do sales calls and people need to think about it, goodbye.
What do you say? How do you do that exit strategy?
Well, I say, then go ahead and think about it. But when I normally hear this, it's one of three reasons. One, it's me. Maybe you're just not comfortable with me yet, and I get that. That's cool. One is the service that I'm providing. Is there some sort of disconnect there? Like, do you think that the service isn't going to serve you? And if you have questions, let me know, and we can hash that out right here. You got me now, right? Or is it the price? Is it the price? Is it too expensive for you? Because if it is, if you're dead serious about moving forward, I may have a solution for you where you might not have to get beaten over the head and come out of pocket 5 G's. Maybe we could do some sort of a payment plan or something. But I'm not doing it if you're not serious. So which one of the three is it? Mm-hmm. And then and then they well, I just got to think about it. So if they continue that route, I say, take as much time as you want and call me after you call 3 other people and hear what they have to say and show you how they do it. Because I'll tell you right now, I'm not the cheapest on the planet. Yeah. But you get what you pay for. And I leave it. And I don't follow up. I'm sorry. I don't follow up.
Oh, yeah, no.
On occasion, I may drop a quick little, hey, how you doing? Have you found a solution that fits you yet? 9 times out of 10, I don't even get a response. But I just want to do it because I do care about the people that I do interact with. And sometimes they do need a minute to think about it. And so I want to give them as much time as they need. But 9 times out of 10, when somebody says they got to think about it, they're not going to move forward. They're just not. They're not ready, or they in their head, do not think that you're a good fit for them. And you know what? That's fine. What you got to remember is this: there are 3 more people behind them that are ready and are willing and are able to work with you. It's a mindset thing. It's a mindset thing. And I would strongly advise that you don't, when you're on these sales calls or you are trying to close deals and you're not and you don't close 3 in a row, right? 3 of them give you no's. or maybes. Maybes are worse than no's. I'd rather be no, right? To not get in a funk, to not like think it's you.
I think you should make people decide. I've always had these fantasies of like saying, okay, you got 48 hours, let me know. And like just blacklist them. I think you're the brand doctor. It's like, you know, you're bleeding out. Do you want to, because if they don't act right away, I mean, if they can't afford it, they can't afford it. But if it's something else, they're going to waste so much time. You're saving them so much time to just get it done and move forward. Otherwise, they're going to waste more money and more time. It all goes back to that. So
yeah, what's the cost of that?
Yeah.
What is the cost? What is the opportunity cost of not taking action? I always ask people that.
It's huge. And people think that I think everyone like forgets that we're not living forever and we're going to be in the same spot a year from now. And I think you should be more definitive in your brand. I think you should, because you've already established yourself as being, you know, like when you look at your brand messaging, like you're the shit. Like you're like, yeah, but wow. Like the things that you do, like those random camera angles, like you have reached the top of your business. And I feel like you should almost attract more people that are decision makers and maybe give them like a time frame to think about it. And then if not, like maybe they are blacklisted, or maybe they have to wait 3 months before they can talk to you again or something like that, because your value is do not waste your time. It's not really your time, it's you're doing them a favor for not wasting their time.
Right. And that's one of the things that you have to pay attention to is what is that time worth to you, right? And like you said, you're not going to get that time back, right? And so I am very cautious of my time, and I value it to the umpteenth degree. Like, and that's a mindset thing too, because I see a lot of people giving away their time for free, and then they look at themselves and say, why aren't I making money, right? Why isn't this business profitable? Well, if you're not making money, then you just got an expensive hobby. You know, you're working off of a hobby. You're not working off of a business. We're in business to make money. Bottom line, we're in business to be profitable. But let me give you another mindset thing. As you're starting to build this sales and marketing funnel out, and you're really starting to attract clients, I want you to start to think about what it is that you're doing and offering is not necessarily selling. What it is you are truly helping these people. You are truly helping these people. When you think in your head that you're getting on the phone and trying to sell them something, nobody wants to be sold. Mm-hmm. Like we love to buy, but we hate to be sold. But if you come from a position of helping, trusted advisor, fiduciary, now if you sit on the same side of the table as them versus across the table,
yeah,
they're a lot more, they're going to open up and they're going to be like, all right, well, how can we make this work? And so my business coach and mentor, he says what he's ingrained into my brain was stop selling, start closing. What do I mean by that? It's when you hear the words come out of the client's mouth or the prospect's mouth that say, you know what, how do I make this happen? What's the next step? Where do I need to go to sign up? Where do I pay? You're closing. You're closing.
Right. On buyer questions. Another thing that I learned about doing, I wish I would have known this when I was doing migraine sales, is you got to obviously know where you're taking them. And it goes asking them questions. They start talking. You get that when they talk for 20 minutes, right? Mm-hmm. And then I think the mistake, I don't know if you make this mistake, but I make the mistake of then I start talking and talking and talking. And you might be doing technobabble. You might not even know it. Even the word brand might be technobabble to them. Right? Mm-hmm. So then it comes down to just saying the same phrase different ways over and over again. You're like, look, Mary, all I know is that you take their situation. Let's say you're talking to a husband whose wife has migraines. I would say, and I haven't done this yet, but this is what I would do if I was going to do that again. All I know is that I help husbands who have wives so you do it like I help blank. I help people blank by doing blank.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's very simple.
And then you just keep on like doing different ways. I help them. You mentioned that you have to do the laundry now and take the kids to school. Well, I help wives and families get their lives back so you can do so she can do the laundry again or take the kids again.
Yeah. So what business are you really in? Is the question. And when I asked myself this question, I said, I'm saving people time. I'm making them look more valuable. I'm making them look better. So I'm establishing a higher credibility. And I'm helping them create and craft a clearer message so that they can connect with their audience on a more deeper level and on a more an emotional level. And so what is the value to that? Like, well, how is that going to help you grow your business? And that's it. That's the business I'm in. I'm not in the design business. I'm not in the branding business. That's the business I'm in. And so if you can articulate that in a clearer way, you're going to really start to win. You're really going to start to win. So let me recap real quick. So first and foremost, before you start to build out your sales and marketing funnel strategy, you want to really establish your position and ask yourself, who do I want to work with and who do I not want to work with? Right? And then own that. Mm-hmm. Right? And then the one thing that is the most attractive characteristic of a brand or of a individual, a person, is the level of confidence that they exude. So Frank Kern said this a while back in one of his videos. He said, the level of confidence that you portray is directly connected to the amount of money somebody is willing to pay you. So if you come off looking like a needy mofo that is scared that God forbid so-and-so doesn't buy, he's going to drop his drawers and say, hey, let me take it in the butt for you, right? Nobody is going to buy from that person because they're so damn needy, right?
So overwhelming. The number one thing that kills a sale is being overwhelming. And I think that a lot of people don't realize they make this mistake is they talk way too long. I know I make that mistake. If you could just talk to them as if you're just when you're watching a movie, it's like someone says something and someone else says something. Someone says something and someone else. And sometimes you say a little bit more, but like think of it like a movie script. And then and those awkward silences are important because it allows that person to think to ask you the next question.
Well, here's a couple of things that my sales coach taught me. Two things. One is it's got to be 80-20 at all times. They need to speak 80% of the time. Listen, you are there to help them. When you're talking, you're not taking the time to really understand. So when let's take the brand doctor, for instance, right? When a patient comes in, right? And they want to tell me their issues, to tell me their pains, right? If I talk over them and I'm the one doing all the talking, how do I know what to prescribe them? I don't. So I have to sit there and listen with intent and listen with pure focus, take everything out. Because my number one thing is I want to be able to prescribe them the right solution for their pain. So when you're doing all the talking and you don't let them get a word in edgewise, they're going to walk away and say, that person doesn't get me.
Yeah.
Right? The second thing is, I forget how he said it, but there's a study out there that says the more you let someone else talk, the more you listen, subconsciously, that person feels more indebted to you because you are actually listening to them. So when they stop talking, they immediately feel subconsciously that they owe you now time. And now you listen. So it actually works in your favor. So let them talk for an hour if you want. One, you're going to get so much information out of them. You're going to be able to know exactly whether or not this person's going to be a right fit. You're going to know if they're ready. Like bottom line, right? But you're going to have all the information you need to prescribe the right solution for them, right? So, but the more you talk, now they're like, all right, now they owe me because now I want to talk. Now they need to listen, right? So anyway, long story short, it was one little, when he told me that, I was like, huh. So it's almost like a piggy bank of attention, right? The more you listen, the more money you're dumping into that piggy bank, right?
Yeah, that's a good example.
And so that's that. So moving forward, so now you know who you want to work with, right? You've established that you have a product or service that solves a problem, right? Now, the next step is to what?
You choose one core funnel.
We talked about this offline.
Yeah, just one. And people get confused with the value ladder and then the whole funnel stacking thing that came out. It's like, should I do high ticket? Should I do a webinar? Everyone says start with the webinar, but what about the squeeze page? And you give something away for free, get the emails. It's like, you need to figure out what you want to do and you pick one. And the goal is to not switch around until you get that funnel to work. And this is how you have fun with it. Funnels should be fun. And what I mean by that is you look at two numbers. You look at the cost to acquire the customer from your Facebook ads. I'm putting $2 out. I'm putting $1 out. Am I getting $2 back? So then how do you measure that? You look at your average cart value. So if you're just selling one thing, you have your squeeze page, but take the time to really understand what order bump can I have here? What's the next thing that they need? What about my upsell funnel hack at this point? If you decided to do a free plus shipping with a book offer, you better damn make sure it looks like, .com-secretsbook.com or, other ones who are doing that. But I think I've heard through the grapevine that you don't want to do a book per se, like in the beginning. You want to just offer, which is a nice thing because it's the easier thing to just offer some sort of like squeeze page. What can I give away for free that will attract that person? And one perfect example is how I found out about ClickFunnels originally. I typed in like how to get your products into celebrities' hands. And I came across my first funnel. I didn't even know I was in a funnel. And it was just simple text. It says, get the letter that we sent Sandra Bullock's people to get our handbag photographed by Sandra Bullock. I was like, oh my gosh, yes. That's how fast it should be. If it's like a sales page, no. A lot of people don't even put the opt-in on the first page so they can just have a micro commitment. So if you go from ad, and then let's say you want to give away, get the free letter or get the free something, and then they click the funnel, they don't just reiterate it, get the free blah, 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 and then they click next. So once you click next, then the next page has the opt-in because you're training them for the user experience. And I'm going to tie this all in together in a second, but then the next thing I get dropped off just when I thought it was done. I'm like, yes, I want this letter. I thought I was done. And then all of a sudden I'm at another page and it was like this video and selling me something for $7 for these 10 videos to watch. And I was like, oh, well, know what to say when you're calling the gatekeeper and how to really do it. I'm like, oh my gosh. And you give value and you give value. Well, how can you give value as much as you can? And it was worth $100. I probably would have paid $47 for it, but I paid $7. And then when I bought that, then there was one more for $297. And that's when I was like, no, like, I don't feel comfortable. But then she sent out these email sequences and I'll be damned. The 7th email, she built it up like the doors are closing. And I was like, and I ended up buying it. But the point is like, once all these things are happening, go back to your one core funnel and get to know the mathematic analytics. And it's not algebra. It's literally like, what's the cost for getting the customer? 100 people hit the page. How many people take your free thing? If it's 3%, you have a problem. Doesn't mean it didn't work. Doesn't mean you have to start another funnel and go to a webinar. No, that's where people can make the mistake. You have to say, okay, what am I doing wrong? Let me go into the Facebook group and ask, like, what's wrong with this? And then, oh my gosh, someone's like, that's confusing, or there's a typo. You don't know what it is. And I think that's so cool because in their example, they had an order bump where it wasn't.
And what's an order bump, Christina, for those that don't know what it is?
Like, okay, so order bump's more for when I think you put the credit card in. When you put the credit card in, an order bump will come up and say, get it faster. Now that you have, the diet plan, why don't you get the cardio plan for $47? Or no, usually like, $37 or something like that. Sometimes 19 or 17, something like a quick thing that makes them, because their credit card's already in there. So when you separate the price, like that, if they think that they're buying something for like $37, or let's say it's $27, and then you have an order bump for an extra $10, now you're really selling something for $30. All you do is break it up. So how can you always splinter off your product? But I really, really like this because once you have and did the work for figuring out an order bump or your upsells, and if you're not sure about this, just go to dotcomsecretsbook.com. It's a wonderful example. Just buy the book and study. I'll pause the video and I'll write the whole thing of Russell Says, because that's like the best copywriting, script writing in the world right there. And I really break down like, what is he saying here? You know, he's not selling. He's really trying to talk to you right there. But anyway, once you have these mathematics and you understand, and if you don't know, ask somebody, like, how many people are converting? What's my percentages here? I've got 5% converting here, 17% take the order bump, you know, maybe 11% take the first upsell, maybe 3, you know, whatever they are. That's how and there's a concept of like, give yourself a raise every day. Every day you should be working on raising those numbers. Even if you're making money and you're happy, you could change one thing. So for example, Russell had one of his order bumps and he had like 2 paragraphs, and he looked at it and it was only 11% of people, I think, were taking it. And he's like, yeah, the number should be more like, I want the number to be 20%. How much more money would that be? And he asked some people about it, and he turned out that it was confusing. It wasn't confusing to him, but it was confusing to the market. And so as soon as he like got rid of the second paragraph, just like have it more simple, like the next day, the number goes up, and you're like, yes. So that is my advice. That's the biggest thing that came out of, you know, 4 years of studying this and being at Funnel Hacking Live is focus on that one core funnel. Because I made the mistake I had all these ads coming in and I was like, ooh, I'm so great. And Russell was saying, wow, I wish I had those conversions from my ads into my funnel. That's amazing. And I thought I was like such a great internet marketer, but I had no conversions. I was just, I was under different management that just told me to call them, and I wasn't even allowed to build a proper sales funnel. That's another story. But the point is like, I can't wait to have a funnel where I'm analyzing the numbers and thinking like, wow, are these correct? And you team up with other people, and then you get to be a part of the community. But it really starts at the most simplest level, and people make it so complicated.
Yeah. And listen, everything has been done before, guys. Let's like call a spade, guys. Like, there's nothing that hasn't been already done. And all you're doing is trying to put your touch on it, your finesse on it. Like, that's it at the end of the day. So, the answers and the question, the answers to your questions are all out there. It's how savvy are you, or are you going to do the legwork to actually answer, to get those answers? Like Tony Robbins says it the best, success leaves clues. I didn't develop the Designs on Demand program because I thought a subscription model for a design service was like the best thing since sliced bread. I saw other people doing it and I was like, all right, well, how can I make mine better? And so I looked at competitors and I saw a common denominator and I was like, aha, they're all doing unlimited designs. So we're going to do unlimited designs, right? But the difference between us and them is we got some real serious design professionals under this roof. And our quality is 10x the quality you're going to see at someone else's. And so that's our X factor. That is our differentiating factor right there. Yeah, if you want to look subpar, uninspired, then go and use those companies. But if you really want your designs to just wow the hell out of your customers and to really get the attention that you're looking to get from them, then come over to Unique Designs, because we're going to show you what real quality design, functional design looks like. And it's like they don't even know. But point is, I didn't come up with that out of the thin air. I saw somebody else doing it and I remodeled it, I reworked it, I redesigned it, and I showed them how I was different. And then I showed examples. Look at the quality of this work. It's not Fiverr. And so, but the answers are all there. And so Christina touched upon this. They call it funnel hacking. And one of the things I'm sort of an anti-funnel hacker. I'm not going to lie. I love Russell. I love ClickFunnels, but I don't like to hack, because in Jersey, when you get called a hack, you're a phony. You don't belong there.
It's structure hacking then.
So yeah, it's.
Well, I'm glad you're bringing this up because there's rules to it. There, you do not copy the copy. You can copy the structure. Like, okay, they said something here, and then they had a picture. That's what I'm talking about. It's all different.
So modeling. See, I like to use the word modeling.
Yeah, modeling. That is used in the industry. Yeah.
Take model it, but you have to put your own interior design to it. You got to put your own exterior design to it, right? And so, like the house next door, it's a gorgeous house. Like, I can tell that it's about the same square footage because it's about the same size, right? But, and our houses are kind of similar, but very unique at the same time, right? Like, that's what we want. Two gorgeous homes, but just, make sure you put your touch on it, right?
People are going to know too. So you're not hiding, you're not like fooling anybody.
Then you look really stupid.
And then you attract that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So let's recap because we're almost coming up on an hour here, and I can talk to you for hours. I can talk to you for days about this stuff. So first and foremost, we're going to make sure that we know who we want to work with, who we don't want to work with. Second is we want to focus in on that one sales and marketing funnel and not get easily distracted or try to create these multiple funnels, because then you start to get worn down. Right. And you really don't, it starts to become analysis paralysis, right? Because you're just, now you're trying too much and nothing's working and you're getting discouraged, right? So focus in on that one funnel and go find something that's already out there that's similar to yours that's working and remodel it, right? And then create it on your own and then take it to market. And I can guarantee you that you're going to have a better chance of being ROI positive faster than you trying to figure all this out on your own from scratch.
Yeah, and read the books. I'm going to be rereading this. If you don't know, .com Secrets, it goes through free plus shipping, the squeeze page, the webinar. Everything is right here. These should be read every day as you're, one of the biggest tips is just like, as you're reading, if you get inspired, stop the book, pause it, write out your notes. Because you're gonna get inspired and you get ideas of what you want to do. It's gonna come to you as you're reading these books. And the other thing with the first step is figuring out who you want. Then after you figure out who you want, you make a manifesto on it. That's an expert secrets. Read about the manifesto. And I just want to give everyone another example of what that is. So once you have those perceptual characteristics or who you want to serve, who you want to hang out with, really. Then it can say something like this. So I'm revealing my brand name yet, but and you always want, the other big thing, actually, I will start by saying this first, is be careful to not make it your name. It depends if you're, the best example is Kaylin again. She started off by doing tool time with Kaylin, and everything was about her, and they couldn't be her. So then 2 years into her business, it was making money, whatever, but she had this like disconnect with her brand. And then she realized it needed to be I am statement. Someone needs to be like, I am a lady boss. So you kill the old identity. Like your old identity is someone, maybe it's who I don't want list. Maybe before you're complaining, you're not an action taker. That's your old identity. You kill the old identity. For you, it's like someone who's in business that's like in their old marketing, structures and doing marketing advice from like 1985, 1992. And they just maybe they're fearful for like, what's the sales funnel thing? And it's like, now you're innovative now. Your new identity is innovation, right? So then you create this manifesto where, I'll just read Kaylin's, it's everywhere. A lady boss is the courageous woman inside of us who takes responsibility for where she's at. She isn't a victim of her circumstances. She doesn't make excuses or complain about what she can't change. She spends more energy doing something about it instead of telling everyone why she can't. So she'll give that to people to put on their fridge, and when they wake up, and a screensaver's on their phone, and you create this identity. And that's how you really start to, build a mass movement and to, get your brand out there, is by that. Then you can use someone like Henry to make it all pretty. If you got to figure out what to outsource and what not to outsource. If Henry is too expensive for you, then you got to find someone else that could just like on Fiverr or something, just get the little things. But when you're ready for like an all out, brand, and when you can afford it, when your funnel's making money and you can afford someone to come in and like redo everything, that's what Kaylin did. I think she worked with you. You redid everything for her, and that's when it becomes a brand. But you can get started. If you can't afford someone like Henry, then you get your funnel going and you read the books and you start making money, and then pay someone like Henry as fast as you can, because it will save you so much time. Yeah. It's not even funny, but yeah, read the books and really figure out your manifesto and your culture and your tribe, who their new identity is going to be.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So wrapping this up, right? What do you tell someone who's just stuck? What do you tell somebody who is just like, you know what? I can't get over this fear of it. Me shelling out, a couple thousand and it not working. Like, what do you tell them? Do it anyway?
I just think it will work. I think, shout out to Satema again, the certainty. Like, I want you to sell certainty because it will work. And if it doesn't, you're going to help teach them the core principles of why it's not working. If it, like, you're not going to take someone's money. If it doesn't work, like, that's going to keep you up all night. You're going to be like, if it totally bombs, they're not making any money. I mean, you're going to be like, all right, you're going to be up all night thinking about it, because it doesn't happen, and you sound like you're starting from scratch. I just think you just tell someone, it will work. And that's the journey that you're on. What's your alternative? To stay where you are because there's the death of the website happening. I think you're selling fear, because we're living in a very interesting time right now where if you don't make the jump to transfer, if you're making money with your business, you better come over to Unique Designs as fast as you can and give the $5,000, or else you are going to be left behind.
Well, here's the thing. My thing is this. The question that I ask is this. How bad do you want it?
I was thinking that too, yeah.
Like, how bad do you want it? Like, if you want it that bad, you will scale walls with your fingernails to get it. Like, that's how bad I want to leave an impact on people's lives. That's how bad I want to show my 7-month-old son what a great role model and example looks like. This business is for him. Like, this business is for him to see how real business is made and how authenticity and the good guys do win. And if you just provide a great service and that you're solving a problem, I think I fell in shit when I created Unique Designs. Why? Because God gave me this talent of beautiful, creative thinking and visual art. I never went to school for this stuff. It just came to me naturally. And for as long as I'm going to be alive, I'm pretty sure that businesses are going to need to be visually attractive, show their credibility, need to connect with their audience. I think, like, somebody set me up, right, and said, we're going to put Henry in a great position. We're going to give him a skill that is going to allow him to work until the last breath, because there will always be a need for what it is that he sells.
I think it comes down to, if someone's in a sports brand, it's like, what's the highest point in your industry? It's like, do you want to be like Nike or not? Do you want to be like down here? Because there's certain brands that sprout up and they stay there. And then I like that you said, how bad do you want it? But I think the other problem you're facing is that people try to understand, and they've been burned before because a lot of marketers, and I'm one of them, that marketers do not know what they're doing. I was working for a doctor and I had no idea what I was doing. I'm getting paid to do it, and I felt like bad about it. I'm like, now I know. It's like, you got to find out people who are in this new age of internet marketing and branding, and you're getting the best of both worlds when they talk to you.
Well, and they don't realize that. Yeah, they don't understand that yet, because like you said, branding it may be taboo to them right now. And it's funny, I started changing up my language recently, and I do talk about brand, and I use the word brand quite a bit, but I don't use it as much as I used to. Why? Because I just substitute it with business.
That's good.
When I just say, do you want to grow your business?
Yes, better.
Duh, of course.
Yeah.
Right?
Blossom at the brand, Techno Valpo.
It's right. And like, so I just say that. And then I say, well, branding is part of that. Like, you can have a brand and no business. You can have a business with no brand. And then
I would even say to them, I'm sorry if this comes out harsh, but I because I know so much of what I can literally see your business, what it can be. And I only want to work with people who are ready to go, because otherwise you're only going to put me back, like hold me back by being successful,
Well, nobody's holding me back. Like that's how certain I am. Nobody's going to hold me back. You're either in or you're out. And I got that from Garrett J. White. Like you're either in or you're out. Listen, my day, I'm going to wake up tomorrow and continue to crush it. Yeah.
I love it.
Like I'm going to wait.
I should send this to you. Do you have it?
I do not.
Oh, it's his new book that he gave out at the Funnel Hacking Live.
That's awesome. And so, I say, like, my life isn't going to change tomorrow if you don't come on board, but yours might. And that's the damn truth.
Are you struggling with how many sales calls do you have, and how many no's do you get before you get a yes? Yeah,
so it's funny. The close rate is 60 to 80%, right? So it's a high closing percentage. What we struggle with is just getting in front of more people.
Oh,
and that's not a that's just coming up with the budget and making sure that our money is spent right, and we are getting in front of the right people. My biggest pet peeve would be to spend money and be presented in front of the wrong audience. Like, that's my biggest pet peeve. That's my biggest. So right now, I have a YouTube strategist, and I have a Facebook strategist on board now, and she's putting together the proper strategy. I know it in my head. I need somebody to execute it for me, because that's not a good use of my time. Right? And so again, valuing time. So you can sit there and buy ClickFunnels and spend 4 months trying to build it on your own. Or this is where I sort of disagree with you, and I just say, listen, or you could come out of the gate, pull out your credit card, stop being a pussy, and pay somebody to build it for you. So that you can spend the time where you need to spend it, so that you can actually love what you do every day, versus go in and start working on shit that you have no business working on, like designing your own website, designing your own funnels, building out your own strategy.
I know that is a really good point. Because Brandon and Kaylin have each other. Like, I only have myself, and I'm a tech person, so I love knowing like the tech, and I can brand it and everything. I can do it all by myself. That's because I went to school for it, and I have like a desire, like a passion for this. I probably should be in that business to help people like build their funnels a bit, but I just didn't want to do that. But if you're someone that is listening that has a business, and you find yourself spending so much time worrying about logos, and some people even have a marketing person, but they find themselves still trying to do the marketing and sales, because everyone knows that that's the lifeblood of the business, but it gets away from your craft and what your business actually is. And that's why I think a lot of businesses do suffer, because they don't outsource at the right time. And they think that they can play marketer and play Fiverr and logo designer, but no, there's so much more to that. And you have to know the extent of your ignorance.
Just stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane.
Just know what you.
I can talk all day about that.
I know. So do what you love to do, and delegate the rest out. I mean, that's how I grew this business into a 7-figure business over the course of a decade. Like, that's how you win. And so
I think that you're missing maybe not you're missing because you have such a high closure rate, but I think what people don't understand, it's like if you do already have a marketer in your business, because most businesses have someone that's handling that stuff, they're just not doing it properly. If they have it done for you, if you know, because you'll give it back to them. It's almost like you upgrade the marketer's position. Like,
yeah, that's happening now. I mean, so, you know, it's not cheap to work with us, but, you know, the minimum buy-in would be $5,000. But the good news is after that $5,000 is spent and you go through the diagnosis and discovery phase of the program, you come out so much more clear on who it is that you are serving, what business you're really in, and like understanding your audience from a level that is deeper than they even know themselves. And that is where the messaging gets real clear. And that's when you start to throw one-liners out and your audience is just hanging on to them like a cliffhanger because they're like, this person or this brand gets me. And that's the transformation right there. And we see a lot of folks, I've gotten companies to hire me to train their marketer, their CMO or their marketing manager, and they come in, they do the program, and then they walk out of there with a whole new perspective and a whole new angle. And it's more than that. You know, one of the biggest things that I see my clients struggle with the most is they got 1,000 ideas in their head and they don't know which one to execute on first. Well,
for a long time,
part of that program, part of that discovery is actually prioritizing what you should be working on first, second, and third, and then going and just doing that. And if you don't want to do it, that's why you have my team here to execute it for you. It's such a done for you thing, but it's just people are scared, and I get it. There's so much garbage out there, and you don't know who to trust, and you sometimes don't even trust yourself.
Yeah, that's true.
So
the doubt starts happening. Like, right. I want to do this, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh.
And so at the end of the day, like, it turns into like a business therapy session, which I don't mind because I love it, you know, but at the same time, I can't pull the trigger for you. I can't run your business for you. It's how bad do you want it? And if you want it that bad, then you will make it happen. Bottom line.
Who do you want to serve and attract? Like when you think about your dream customer, like who do you picture? What industry are they even in?
Well, they're definitely in the entrepreneur arena, right? They're a consultant. They're a person who has founded a business that really wants to make an impact on people, and they want to make the world a better place. So, you know, I see Pradeep Sangha as an ideal client. I see the Adam Wennings of the world. You know, those are my ideal clients. Those go-getters. They're hungry. They want to help. They're good people. They have good hearts, and they want to take all that energy and just give and provide a optimal future for people that truly want that too, right? And so it's working with people that are very similar to me, you know, people that won't lay down and they will continue to fight, you know, for what it is that they want to do with their business. And, you know, Dom Fawcett is another person. I'm just throwing clients' names around like crazy because I watch these people evolve over the 6-7 months I work with them, and it's just amazing to see the transformation, you know. And so those are the folks that when I see them win, that's when I really get paid. I don't really get paid. Yeah, monetarily I get paid up front, but when I hear Dom Fawcett send me a message that says, I just spent 30 minutes on a phone call with someone who came to my website who was so impressed. They basically asked me, how much do you charge to be, you know, for your coaching? And I said 10,000. And they said, where do I send the check? Mm-hmm. That's when I really get paid. Yeah. So awesome. Christina, I could go another hour, but we got to wrap this up. I appreciate you taking time out of the day today to come in to our audience and really show your true self, and you didn't hold anything back. You know, I love that. I love that about you, and I will always love that about you. So stay that way. But I love what you said to the audience about, let's recap one last time. Know who it is that you want to serve and know who it is that you don't want to serve, and be polarizing. Say it and mean it and own it, right? Own it. Then focus on that one thing and focus in and dial in until you get it right. Know it, one core funnel. So it's, if you're putting $1 out, you better get $1 back at least, right? If you want to get 2, great, right? And then just model what works. Go out there. Don't try to do it all on your own and try to figure it all out. Just look at a competitor, see how they're doing it, see what they're doing it, see how they're communicating, and then again, take the model, the framework, right? And make it your own. And either you hire somebody out to help you build this, like myself or somebody else, I don't care. Or if you have the tech savviness, do it yourself. But it's always good to get that outside perspective, because we all have these blind spots. And if you don't really find what those blind spots are, you're going to constantly make the same mistakes or see things that, or not see things that are potentially hurting your business and growth. So anyway, that was a tremendous amount of energy and value there for all those folks that are watching and listening that are starting and trying to figure out how and why and what. It is in this episode. You just now got to do the hardest part. Fucking do it. That's it. And I'm talking to you too, my friend.
Yeah. Well, I'm working on my pre-launch right now. I actually would love to talk to you about a pre-launch. That's like, I'm figuring out how to do that, but I'm really excited about it. I'm doing all these videos. It's going to be epic.
That's awesome. Well, Christina, thank you so much for coming on the show. And real quick, guys, if you haven't subscribed to this podcast yet, please do. If you haven't shared it with a friend or a colleague, please do. And I thank you in advance for that. And if there's anything else that I can help you with, drop me a line. You know how to get me on social media. I'm everywhere. If you have a topic of interest that you want me to discuss, I'd be happy to showcase it on the show. And I will continue to bring you as much fire and heat as I possibly can to help you grow and build a profitable and reputable brand. So have an awesome day, guys, and I'll catch you on the next episode.